I guess we'll start because we have a bunch of people, so might as well use as much time as possible. For me, quite the big update today, so bear with me a little bit. On the Go Forward work, it's still ongoing. We are now up to 59 million blocks, so the replay is going well. We are out of the woods with most of the big hard forks, like the RC subsystem has been implemented and stuff. The remaining forks are like 26 to 28, which will include like as big of changes as the previous ones. The main issue remained like the Hive SAT cascade drifts. So it happens with like when the small things are not accounted for, like missed blocks moving the internal price or the DHF payment drift, stuff like this. That's still ongoing, but I'm pretty happy with the progress so far. In regards to other things, I took a fix for the wallet where you can end up with two wallets opening the same wallet file and overriding each other. I think Gandalf raised that a few years back. So I implemented a log file solution. Bartek argued that actually checking the file content by comparing hashes would be a better approach. So I agreed and re-implemented that. Finally, there is like the actual big MR that I'm working on these days. It's the update account and create account authority processing issue. Basically, it allows you to like basically break your account by setting all the weights to be below the threshold, meaning that basically you cannot sign anything anymore. Or the exact opposite, where you can set no authorities, meaning like the weight threshold is 0, meaning that you can have a fully open account that anyone can do anything with without your keys. This all stemmed from like a bug in this CLI wallet, which still exists by the way. I need to create the issue, I forgot. Where if you submit incorrectly nested JSON for authentication, the CLI wallet transformed that into like an empty JSON, which results in an open authority. So basically, anyone can shoot themselves in the foot. But if it can happen in the CLI wallet, it can also happen in like any random libs that makes a mistake or someone messing up sending like a raw transaction. So that's something worth fixing at the consensus level. So proposed a merge request that basically blocks both breaking your auth and also open auth. Talked a bit about it with ABW that argued that open authority might be an interesting use case, so maybe we shouldn't lock it. And so we both agreed that we could have that working as like an extension so that you cannot shoot yourself in the foot by mistake and like you really need to mention that you want that. And Bartek chimed in arguing that we could basically implement the whole thing to be extended into like additive and subtractive authorities. So instead of updating everything at once, you can be like, hey, I want to add this one or remove that one. And then like I think this morning, ABW argued that like it would lead to too much complexity and also like kind of harder to know the state of an account. That's kind of the discussion for today that I want to bring up. Personally, I'm kind of on the fence. I feel like incremental auth updates are a bit of a big overhaul just to cover this one use case, and I'd be more in favor of like banking the current merge request to like prevent impossible authentication and only allowing the open extension if specified with an extension, and then we revisit later if there's like genuine interest in that. Sorry, that's a bit of a big update, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Thoughts?
Okay. Um, I haven't really considered too much I'll just start about it. The idea for the key change signing as far as doing incremental versus all at once. So I don't have any strong opinion on it yet. I can see arguments for both. May, in the interest of ease, we might just stick with the all at once for now and consider the incremental later because I guess there's nothing that would block implementing it incrementally later. But that's just my first thought without much consideration. Um, on a related topic, I want to cover a little about what we're doing in light accounts, and say it's related because light accounts is its own signing, of course, and as part of that, well, maybe not as strictly as part of it, but I've been considering as in addition to the light accounts that we might make changes to the signing process, at least soon after we do or around the time that we release light accounts. And the type of changes I've been thinking we might do to the signing process would be to get rid of some of the artificial limits that are there that in my opinion, don't make much sense in terms of the complexity of the existing authorities. I wrote about this on one of the issues, I don't know, probably a year or so ago, but um, still think that work is probably worth doing. Um, anyway, so let me talk briefly about what we're doing on light account so far. So just to refresh everybody's memory on what a light account is, um, the idea is that we have these accounts that aren't really accounts on the blockchain itself. That means they don't have first class privileges to sign transactions. Um, so when they want to do it, when a light account wants to do a transaction, it needs to find some first layer account that's willing to sign the transaction for them. And the idea behind this would typically be there might be someone running an application like a website, like a blog site or a game or something like that on the that has an account, and they would allow people to submit transactions to them, unsigned transactions, well, second levels, let's say signed with second level keys, and then that first layer account could then post it to the blockchain and sign it with their keys. And one of the ideas behind this is these sort of second layer accounts could also be you wouldn't it wouldn't require it to be the same first layer account that's signing in each case. So you might get one first layer account creates the second layer account for you, registers it in the blockchain. But after that, you could still use your account to sign transactions, second layer transactions, and pass them to some other first layer account, and it could also broadcast your transactions. So effectively, as long as there's first layer accounts willing to basically act as a transport layer for you, your second layer account can post. You kind of have your own second layer account that can be used to do things on the blockchain. Um, some of the limitations that that you have with the second layer account is, well, first the I guess the first thing is you don't need to actually have you don't have to pay account fee, right? Not that that's a big deal at the moment, but it's just a friction point that you don't have to. The idea is one of the parts that I want to do with this is basically have a way that you could use like your social logins to log in. So you'll be able to log in with your like Google account or your Facebook account or whatever instead of having to use keys. Uh, and as long as you're in that state, though, I think it's best not to allow you to basically manage money because there's security layers involved there. But you could be able to do things like post and comment and stuff like that. Another aspect of this is related to something that I personally run into a lot when I see like websites and they have like a comment section. I often want to like leave a comment, but then I got to go through this process of creating an account first before I can do it. And I just say, I just wanted to add a comment. I don't feel like going and creating an account. So almost never comment on things on the line, but I would if I could just leave a comment and not have to go through any basically work besides typing the comment. So this is kind of one of the areas I want to focus on with this light accounts is the ability to basically get these like throwaway accounts that you could leave a message. And then later, if I decide that, okay, I become invested in my comments, then I can then claim an account associated with those comments. To me, this would solve a problem that, at least personally in my life, I find annoying as hell. So maybe it'll help other people too. Um, So let's see what to go from there. So we are in progress on this right now. Another part of this is specifying something called second layer transactions. So basically, just like you have first layer operations, you have first layer you have second layer operations, and you might want to group those second layer operations into a transaction so that they are sort of an all or nothing affair. They either all work or they all fail, just like a regular first layer transaction. So we're building a standard for second layer transactions as part of that too. So the pieces to are you have your own keys that you can for a second layer account, and another part of that is so the key structure is sort of mirrors the existing one we have of owner keys and active keys, and then posting keys. And we're also allowing for new custom key types to be created in second layer so that you could create a key that's specific to maybe the operations of a particular app or something like that. This could allow for apps to define their own additional security layers and sort of lower the chances risk of key usage. Um, and those new key types can again be shared across apps. So one app might create, say, a gaming key, and then other apps could also decide to recognize that key for usage in signing their second layer operations as well. The second layer operations here would be operations defined by each app, just to make that clear. So this it's in progress now. One of the things that this will require is would be a change to some of the like the blogging apps, specifically to cover the idea of posting with the second layer account. Because once we allow posting with a second layer account, that means that the apps will need to recognize not only the first layer account that actually broadcast the transaction for the user, but also who the second layer account was. So we're creating an API, an app, a half app. All this is basically defined using half apps. Um, so there'll be a half app layer where you could query and get the second layer account name as well. So you could would be able to display that the comment was made by this second layer account. Some of this will probably just be updates to HiveMind itself because HiveMind already has most of the stuff for managing posts. In other parts of it will be separate dedicated half apps. I don't want to take a lot of time. I know we got a lot of people to talk today, so I just wanted to cover that briefly and go over that. I'll let Bartek and Andre cover the stuff that they've been working on, which is on the Hive side and Wax side and things like that.
Yes, in last month we are able to do several things previously hold until release was published, and after that we were able to merge, for example, a few merge requests from How, which previously was blocked, and to do our site fixes and changes, which also wait for release. Such changes contain mostly parts in Hive-G development, and here we did finally port to C++20, which allowed to switch to newer compiler and also have better tools detecting some errors and printing warnings related to some generated by some code analyzers and so on. There are fixes related to bugs found by given memory analyzers related to liquidity white overflow, and there is also fix related to RocksDB logging, which allowed to mm, pollute storage on servers. We also finally merged quite important changes from Wax interfacing perspective related to introducing standard handling of exceptions produced by Hive-D. And this way, we want to eliminate a need to parse complex FC assertions messages at client side and switch application programmers just to catch typed exceptions as it was as it should be done all the time. For example, specifying improper account fee during creation should result in catching dedicated exception class instead of looking for dedicated message in assertion string, what of course significantly improves application maintenance. From other changes, I hope quite useful for Hive-G development and probably also awaited by community is pre-configuring and allowing to reuse already existing image specific to ARM development. And this way, everyone can get pre-built image from our GitLab registry or build ourselves Hive-D, but using pre-configured tools targeting Raspberry Pi, which was shown last year. So finally, we have ready toolchain to do that and complete environment to mm, significantly reduce overhead of such process. So that covered most of parts in Hive-D, plus some changes done by IBW related to maintaining tests and making their environments more close to regular working
Okay,
scenarios.
so I will talk about that. The main goal is to make RC part of consensus, and that is like three lines of code change. However, first step was to disable testnet ability to skip RC, and that opened a whole can of worms, which results in couple merge requests already to basically push testnet more into the mainnet state, because, for example, when testnet allowed no fee for account creation, that such a thing is not possible to even set on mainnet, but on testnet it was possible. It was default. So when I changed that, and I had to change that because otherwise RC adjustment, which is basic amount of RC that every account has, and which enables them to actually function. So when I changed that, many tests had to be regenerated. Block logs that were previously generated with zero fee now had to be made anew. Accounts had to have liquid Hive to pay the fee, etc. So there is plenty of changes in the tests like that. Also, the testnet by default runs close to Genesis, so the price of vests is changing widely with each block because there is very little vests at the start, and that causes a lot of uncertainty. How many RC will you get when you create an account with some fee, and adjustment is changing widely as well. So I had to stabilize the price of vests as a next step, and that changes many tests as well, etc. So that is something I'm working on right now. And in the meantime, of course, that the changes in tests are mainly done by Cloud. I just look at the results and sometimes make some corrections or push it to valid direction, because it sometimes harms the tests. They stop doing what they were supposed to test. But in the meantime, when Claude is working, I'm also looking at the Magi network on request from Rod Butterfly. So I hope I will have time in this meeting at the end to ask some questions to make sure that what Claude told me about it wasn't hallucination.
Anyway, I like also just finish report on Hive projects, other Hive projects than Hive-D. We just mostly cover it. And rest of things I'd like to mention is further growth of Wax library, which was ported to Rust. And I hope we will be able this week to publish first official packages, which will be next tested, and we will see how it works by downloading them from official Crates.io registry. We are trying to publish pre-built versions for x64 architecture and Linux just to avoid huge overhead of building Hive protocol. And right now, this version of WAX covers offline transaction signing. Guys are working also on support for API calls, what I also hope will be possible at the end of July. And last big part of work, which was awaited lately, is finally done Python version of Worker Bee. And I hope Brian of London, which waited for it at least last year, will be happy to see it. And I hope it will meet his needs just to automate some processes with interacting to Hive. So that's most of works, high-level works we did on Hive projects, and of course, as Andrew said, in the background, we did also some analysis of Magi project, what was quite interesting things, and as he said, probably he will ask some questions now, if he wants.
No, I will wait for the end of the meeting.
Okay, so then let's hear what next person have to say.
I'm happy to give updates if that's fine. Can you hear me?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, thanks. All right, so we have quite substantial updates for this last month. Let me start with our Half stats. So on Half stats, we built a probably 10 new endpoints, bringing a total of 16 endpoints. So as a reminder, Half stats provides endpoints that give you some statistics about the Hive blockchain, many things which were not available previously. So we created endpoints that would tackle daily active users statistics, vote statistics across the network, historical data, content volume being created on the chain, engagement metrics, per account content stats, so not only network specific, also per user. Financial summary, which we created last month, but also received additional data. Top accounts leaderboard, network top accounts. So all of these are now powering, which I will also provide an update on in a few, the Block Explorer UI. And of course, they're publicly accessible. So we have now our test api.hivescan.info for anyone who wants to actually check out some of these endpoints. You can see them on this test API node. This contains all the updates that are currently merged into develop, including our work, but also anything that's been done on develop on all the other Half apps. So this is a culmination of everything that's currently available across the Half ecosystem. Okay, moving from Half stats, or actually no, still in Half stats, we also created not only network analytics, we have cohort and retention analytics. So you have network author retention over a period of time. How are authors being retained on the chain? Not only by posting, even by maybe using custom JSON or any activity. We have an account funnel, network account funnel measuring 7-day, 30-day, 90-day activity. How are users sticking to the chain? Are they coming back after a while? Are they still active? Are they dropping? We built the whole from the Genesis block all the way down to today. So this is like a standard Half app. We have governance and wealth metrics. So there is a governance influence concentration. So where does the governance rely? In which using the Gini coefficient. Network HP distribution. Also, that's something we also added as an endpoint. We implemented a full RC analytics system. So you get also the network RC utilization, you get the account RC footprint, you get the account DApp footprint. So we map the RC to DApps. Now, I understood from ABW, we're moving RCs into a consensus part. So probably this will need to be reworked down the road. But of course, currently these are estimates based on previous values of RC
Yeah,
historically.
Why these are estimates where the actual values are available, not in the half, but each transaction has a definite RC cost, and that value could be passed to the half data.
Yeah, you know, I'll tag you on the ticket so that you can actually check how we implemented it, and maybe you can point us to an improvement over this, because we did several iterations on this. We have some data that can provide close estimates, but I'm not sure if the values in the history are going to be as accurate as we predict they are. So maybe I'll tag you in a couple of these endpoints so we can review them if possible, ABW.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. Okay, what else? We've done a lot of improvements over existing endpoints. So many endpoints were in double-digit seconds, so they are less than 1 second, sometimes in milliseconds. We've done a lot of improvements. Some of the endpoints might not need to be as accurate as this instance, so this helped us keep the performance within limits without staying up to date to the last block. Okay, what else? Let me see. All right, let's move from the half stats to the Block Explorer UI. So in the Block Explorer, which let me also send you the link. Scan.info. Okay, so if you open this, you got to make sure that this is running on test API, okay, because you can configure whatever node, and by default, it should be fetching from this node. So if you want to see the full-fledged everything that's new and all the bells and whistles and data that's there, you need to be using this API node for both the Hive node and the Explorer backend API. But in a nutshell, what we did, we added all the back-end endpoints are now available as front-end widgets. So you can see daily active users, voting activity, network HP distribution, top accounts, account retention, operations by type, HP momentum, power activity tab. So these are per user. If you go to user profile, you can see their HP momentum powering up, powering down. Proposal votes history model, also part of your of every proposal, who voted when, who unvoted, recent activity, last blocks widgets. We also allowed the user to store a configurable dashboard that they input specific widgets into them, because you can customize your experience. This is encrypted and posted on chain so that when the user reloads their profile anywhere, they can actually fetch their proper gadgets. We have trends in the widget. So now you can see the trendiness of a certain criteria. It was previously implemented and a 2-point delta. Now it's really a trend line across the widget. Okay, so in total, I think we have around 31 widgets now providing whether network information or user-specific data across the Block Explorer. The For You page, so not the For You page, For You Half app, so Half FYP. Also, we got this implemented now. I think it's basically ready to be used. We haven't announced it officially. We also built a front-end application for testing this out. I'll talk about it in a minute. So we deployed, we tested, we improved a lot of endpoints available there, how you can configure your algorithm for any node that will be running the FYP Half app. We've had few additions to Balance Tracker. So the power down fills were missing a certain scenario where someone is powering down to another account. So this was mixing things up. We added the HPD interstate also for the account. We added a range filter for top holders. On Block Explorer, we also added a few things. On HiveMind, there were a couple of things that were added. Notably, the account pending author rewards, account pending curation rewards. We never had these anywhere in Hive, so these were also useful additions. There was something reported by someone from the community with mention adding 0 other users, so we also fixed that. Health component, health checker also had a couple of fixes. I don't know if Jakob is Dan. Maybe you can nudge him to merge these changes because they improve the layout on the Hive scan. Currently, the box doesn't look nice, and we added the version number for every Hive API node so that we can easily understand what node version is on each node. So for the front end, for whoever is switching node to know what this node is capable of. Okay, bear with me, sorry. So there's a few other things. Last month I onboarded 15 developers onto Hive. I think I mentioned this last month that we're onboarding a lot of new users. So we gave them a lot of introduction and information about Hive. And they started actually working on new ideas for Hive. I'm hand-holding them through several ideas, just to give you a glimpse about some of the projects they're going to be working on. So 2 or 3 of them are working on a clone for a popular game, which is currently popular, called Mecha Chameleon. Not sure if anyone saw that, so that idea or that game. They're bringing something like this to Hive. They want to build such a clone, a cool identity that is Hive specific. Others are working on a freelancer version on Hive, task-based, the freelancer that leverages the concept of escrow. That is unfortunately underutilized in Hive, and hopefully they can build a gig economy from that onto Hive. There's a third project called Hive Lore, which is a storytelling platform where contributors can collaborate together. They build a story, they keep going through it. There's a Wordly, the word style word puzzle. So a couple of team members are also building something like that. There's Hive Trivia, also something like the normal trivia where you get questions, answers, trivia about crypto, blockchain, stuff like that. Also with some concept of rewards. There's the front end that I mentioned about the For You page. So we built something called Waggle. Let me share with you the link. Sorry. Gandalf, you had a question about Waggles for the last version of Vanilla. Yes, there's actually a ticket for fallbacks if you don't have. There goes whole. Yeah, there's a ticket to fall back if you don't want to mess up your version. So any widget that is not supported by a certain Hive API node will not cause you errors. Yes, it's not implemented yet, but yes, we understand what you're saying, and it makes a lot of sense. So the Waggle, yeah, sure. So the Waggle is actually some TikTok concept idea that we built. I wanted to have a TikTok style browser for Hive, and you would see your traditional Discover and For You page. And if you log in via this tool, you would be able to get a customized feed, which is a For You feed based on your usage of the chain historically and relying on the Hive FYP. And if you are a new user who doesn't have any custom experience before, you can get an interest sign up. If you try it out, you can see it. So you can customize your experience based on specific communities available on Hive. And this customization will happen in seconds with a custom feed being created to you based on the Hive API node and your configuration. And as you interact with the chain and using also Hive Sense, the feed will update and you will get new content that is hopefully suitable to you. This is a configurable algorithm that any Hive API node can actually run depending on what preference they want. There are several factors that can be taken into consideration. Okay, what else? Sorry. There's a cool arcade game that we also built called Hive Runner, and that's what did the guys call it? Yeah, Keepers of the Chain. So we are building a cool concept also for a arcade game where there's a runner and he's catching blocks, and the purpose is to have fun and to get rewards and to get parcels and stuff. And we haven't launched any of these yet publicly, but if you want to just have fun with the game, see if you have any thoughts, ideas for us, we're happy to build on it. And the Chrome extension, we are continuously updating the Hive Pulse. So we added recently, not sure if you guys saw the announcement, the SEO factor, and this is, I think, a critical part of the user experience on Hive. Everyone is talking about SEO, but no one is telling users to improve their own content to be SEO related. So we added a set of SEO matching criteria. When you are creating a content on any front end, you will get this checklist, and it will match your whatever content you are putting, and it will rate it and provide suggestions for how to improve it. What else? Finally, the last thing. Sorry, Ho. We built also an AI finance app that is a personal finance tracker, and we are tying this to Hive, trying to find what is the best approach for this to be suitable for Hive. We integrated Hive profiles there. This is, of course, talk to your wealth, you speak, and you track your expenses. We want to allow users to post transactions or progress or maybe encrypted backup of their transactions on Hive. We are just trying to see where this would be a great fit for Hive. Sorry, too many updates. Hopefully, I didn't take too much of your time. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of maybe going last since ABW has some questions. So if we can cover everybody else.
So I guess he was saying, anybody else want to go? I think that's what Lord Butterfly was saying. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see him post. I was expecting a verse.
Oh, so I'm working on high-speed application, posting daily updates. I'm glad that Blockted mentioned about Light account because I was thinking of creating separate account with tons of RC, allowing Web2 users to post via that account. So I'm gonna wait for Light accounts basically, and I'll switch my focus on the storage, basically providing personal storage powered by Wasabi storage, where we can call it like Hive Drive, where user can store their own files, uploads like images, audios, videos, documents. So that's something I'm working on. And after that, there's one more thing. We're also working on Office tools, like basically with which you can manage your documents, sheets, slides, PDF, basically kind of Google Docs within high suite application. So you can also give it a try, high suite, and then once you have logged in, on the right drawer menu, you will see drive option. Right now it just has a couple of files, static files, but once we have drive in place, Hive Drive in place, um, we will be able to allow user to fully store things over there. So yeah, Light accounts integration, Hive Drive, and if you have anything uh, as a feedback, feel free to drop a message, and would love to work on it. So yeah, that's it from my side.
Awesome, thank you. Well, ABW, do you want to carry on with your questions?
So everyone is done
Yeah,
already.
I'll just give
Should
a
we-
quick update. everyone's done, so we can kind of discuss things later on. So with Magi, we're basically going through a hardening phase, dealing with some hiccups with TSS. Nothing major. Some reshare skipped. It's a very complex system that can be fairly fragile. Um, we're currently finishing up our new feature release in terms of EVM integration. So clearing the last bugs. We already cleared the higher severity ones, currently going through mediums. We figured out a way to actually avoid our validators, node runners, to actually run a full Ethereum node. We're going to be using an external network if everything pans out, SPN. They basically charge per proof since we're going to be using zero knowledge proofs instead of running a full node. That should significantly cut the costs of infrastructure, especially since we would need to spend like $5,000 to $10,000 on a single GPU that would be capable of doing the computation for ZKs. Once this is done, we're going to be launching Ethereum. And for USDC, it's a bit more difficult since we're going to have to be launching our own contract on the Ethereum mainnet for USDC to be available. Once that's done, we're essentially finished with the milestones we promised on the last proposal, which was kind of important for me to close off all the promises we made. It was a bit late, but it's going to be closed off very soon. After that, we're essentially going to have 5 liquidity pools, which covers about 70% of the market in terms of volume, and we're going to go into business development. I'm also talking to Changely to use their fiat off ramp. So if everything pans out, this should kind of solve all our problems when it comes to using centralized exchanges, off ramp and on ramp. So we're not ever again as Hive dependent on some external company. So yeah, now of course everything depends on actual liquidity that the community puts in, which is something that the audits that ABW is doing kind of hinges on. So yeah, that's basically it. ABW questions, all ears. And thanks again for doing this, of course.
I've barely reached the code. I mean, I've just downloaded it today to ask some more detailed questions from Claude that needed the code to look into. But for now, I want to make sure the information I got on the general scheme of how it works are accurate.
Mhm.
So let's say we have validators, but there is no user activity. So what do validators do in that case? I mean, is there some heartbeat that validators publish something to Hive even when there is nothing to do? That's
I mean, validators are also block producers, so they
yes,
produce blocks.
That's the question about the what happens on its own without any users.
So
In terms of what outcome?
yeah, I think what he's asking, let me just
normally witnesses produce for Hive. Witnesses produce blocks every 3 seconds,
Sure.
even if there is no user activity. I ask about similar thing on Magi.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, that it's the same thing with Magi.
But do the blocks on Magi happen? Are the blocks produced by validators or not, or only driven by user activity? Because there are
They're produced every 30 seconds. They're not based on user activity.
30 seconds. Okay. 30 seconds. As far as I know, the things that validators have to publish is related to external chains. Yes, there are some activity related to Oracle functionality, and it contains some header information about, for example, latest BTC block, etc. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
But there is also Doge there, and isn't that a very fast chain?
Doge.
Yes.
No, Doge isn't currently live. This is the part of the code base that we did write the code for, but it's not live. It's not going to be live anytime soon. So currently, only Bitcoin is on mainnet.
Okay, but some questions I have about about the faster chains, because some things are become problematic when dealing with faster chains. So that's
what
why
speed are
I'm
you worried about? Just so I'm curious.
First thing I'm asking if the network won't have some too much idle output. I mean, the consensus bloat. Oh, yes, that's the name.
Okay, so you're saying if there's no, well, I mean, it doesn't sound like it'll be idle too often if once they hook up some of the faster blockchains, right? So Doge is 1 minute.
Yes, but that's my question. If there is a fast blockchain hooked to the network, does it mean the validators of Magi have to produce their information like every Hive block, for example?
Well, if I got it right, he's saying they only produce a new consensus block every 30 seconds. Are you talking about?
Yes, but maybe it's because now it's only BTC, and what if there is more faster chains?
No, it wouldn't affect the speed of the chain. Doesn't really affect. There's always, for example, with Bitcoin, if the block speed is 10, 15 minutes, then it takes about 30 minutes for us to actually get the deposit in. So there's always a timeline for us to actually do the stuff. With EVM, for example, I think their finality is 13 minutes. And we're kind of intending not to allow for sub 13 minutes deposits or withdrawals or swaps. So we will be batching transactions. So it always takes more time for everything to settle on the Magi blockchain than the actual speed of the blockchain we're integrating is. So that's kind of the reality of bridging assets. So that nothing will go under the 30-second block time. So I don't think there's going to be any issues there. If that
makes sense. So they're working basically off finality, not off just, they're not taking one confirmation.
Okay.
They're requiring finality.
That will be probably a bit chaotic because I have some extensive list of questions and they might not be in order. So second question, pendulum price. Why there is a difference between pendulum price and Hive official Hive price?
I think that should be related to the actual price in the liquidity pools. They're not. The prices are derived by themselves, by the pools. There is no oracle following the prices of any external assets to Magi. So even for Hive, that's the case.
Yeah, so but I'm asking why there is a different. Why do you have to compute a pendulum price that is different from current median history, from feed history, even though you are using feed history as the source.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to check that the specific thing, but generally speaking, the prices that we use for each of our systems are derived from the liquidity pools. I don't think any are derived from actual witness prices on Hive or the market prices anywhere.
Okay, next question. Elections for the validators. As I understand this, there is a pool of validators, and there is a smaller pool, much smaller pool, which is like a schedule for Hive. And from that pool, and there is also as even smaller two thirds of that is required to sign anything. Is that correct?
Yeah, these are specifics to TSS. I won't be able to answer those questions. I'd have to, talk to my developers.
No, but I mean the part that there is a large pool of validators and there are current validators that are elected for this.
Round.
It's it's called epoch. I believe
Exactly. Yeah.
something.
So
what is the frequency of the epoch?
6 hours.
Okay. 6 hours. And the change in the active committee means the TSS is recomputed. Yes.
Reshares happen. Yeah.
Yeah. So it happens even if the committee didn't change, or committee always changes.
The committee should always change, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That part was very very surprising to me, that it's possible to change all the shares by transferring them, by making the other actors provide their shares and not change the public key. I mean, I kind of assumed at the start that you can change the shares within the same committee, but it seems like it can be changed between committees. That was very very surprising, and it's a marvelous feature, because it basically allows what we are using, the change of the schedule, this set of actors that are part of the signers, without having to put a mark on the blockchain. So it's completely costless from the blockchain standpoint. So, for example, the same scheme could be used, for example, to make shared ownership of community account, for example.
Shared ownership of community account.
Yeah, because
yeah.
Now communities are owned by the
Single user,
community community user, and if that user has authority that is using TSS signatures, then you can, for example, use L2 tokens to elect those users that hold authority over that account.
Yeah. I mean, TSS is used for other things. This is just one of the first implementations for external custody of assets, but you can use it for escrows or community accounts, stuff like that. Definitely, yeah.
So that's why I think we have to have it in Wax. Yeah, because it's too useful to
Yeah.
leave it. Okay. Okay. That's
Yeah, that was one of reasons that I started to think to port Wax into Go, because as I know, you are using Go for implementing Magi, so probably that can be some our another focus of port of Wax library, and I'd hope it could be useful also for your project.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, any ideas you guys have, we're always open to discuss it, especially with external projects like Wax. So, hit me up.
custody. I see that you have TSS, and the second branch is a backup that is delayed by some month of blocks. Yes.
What kind of backup are you referring to?
The external, let's say BTC assets can be released by TSS or by a backup that is on a time delay. It needs 4,320 confirmations to activate.
Yeah, that's just the backup if something gets stuck. So we have, I think that's 2 weeks time or 3 weeks
So
time.
that's a question for the fast chains. Is that number BTC only, or it's for all chains that support UTXO scheme?
Yeah, that's just general safety thing in case something gets stuck, so it reverts to the
Yeah, but
origin.
about the number of confirmations.
But I think
Because-
the answer is since they haven't supported the other coins yet.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I assume the fast chains will need longer delay in terms of number of blocks. Because
I'm not sure. I think it should
otherwise
be.
you would have to push around those assets faster than every month. Yes, that for BTC is once a month, and
Yeah, so it should be set at once per month for each of the chains.
the
and
backup-
it'd be done in time, not in blocks. Basically, is I think.
Yeah.
Who is the backup account? Is that
Mm-hmm.
some institution or?
It's a team. It's team controlled,
Okay.
but it only can reverse the transaction. Cannot move it anywhere else. I think it should be VSC DAO, but we're probably if we made some custody changes. So if that's still set to VSC DAO, we could put it under the multi-sig for the gateway. So that's not a big issue. But again, it doesn't really do anything. It just reverts the transaction back to the base chain, to the wallet it came from.
Another about custody. Let's say I release some. I mean, let's say I'm a user who uses contract who requires TSS signage for releasing some BTC. So that's all valid, and the BTC was released. I mean, the signature was created and the transaction was posted. But now it's the question of how do you know? Do you track the actual if the transaction reached the block in BTC.
Do we track if first it has to arrive to the block, and then we observe what happened, and that's kind of the confirmation. So I'm not sure if I answered that properly, but
I was actually thinking of the situation where when the backup is a rogue actor, but if you say that needs the team controlled, then maybe it's not the problem.
yeah, but again, the backup account can't really do anything besides revert the transaction to the same account that sent it from the mainnet on BTC. So even if it was rogue, wouldn't be able to do anything.
And how is that reached? How do you know it can only revert the transaction? Is
That's something in the code that was set. I need to
but
check exactly what
it's
code
the
it is. but-
it's the function of BTC?
My guess is they're using BTC scripts, if I had to guess.
Because
They might have some kind of BTC script going on that allows for the
Okay.
return.
Okay, so I
It's
don't.
just a guess, but that
I
would be my
don't.
best
I don't
guess.
know any of such function, but I didn't look at BTC for a long time.
Yeah,
So
well, you can basically create some rather primitive scripts in BTC, and it might be that script can be signed by this backup account and allow the. So basically, it might be a limited form of a transaction based on that idea. It's again just a guess, but it's the most likely thing I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, I can check and let you know exactly what it is, but that's how we kind of envisioned it working.
okay, validators. If I wanted to become one, I have to pledge some collateral. Yes.
Yes.
And that means I have to transfer it to some account.
Sure. Yeah.
Because there is slashing, so a mechanism has to control that collateral in order to be able to slash. So that's what was my reasoning. So okay, and that's a minimum of 2,000 hive. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the minimum.
And you can put more, and the more you put in, the more frequently you are chosen to the elected committee. Yes.
I don't think that's how it works, because we don't have block rewards. We have fee distribution, so it should work that there is no difference in how
Well,
much you're
he's
elected.
not talking about how much reward you get. He's talking about frequency of block production. He's suggesting that you might get better chance to be elected to produce a block. Not that you'd get
That's
more
what
rewards.
I got from Claude, because there is two things that slightly contradicts each other. I mean, but because I could either have one account and let's say give 10,000 hive collateral, or I could have 5 accounts with minimal collateral. So it seems to me that there is a difference between those two situations, and it would be with TSS. Because if 5 of my accounts are in TSS, in the committee, and I have 5 votes, five shares in the TSS signature. There is no share virtualization based on how much collateral I given. Yeah.
I think the collateral only applies when it comes to the share of the total revenue for the validators. I have to check every other claim you're making here. 100%
If
certain.
that was true, then it's better for a potential rogue actor to split collateral between many accounts, because then he might get a lot of his controlled accounts to be in one committee and potentially make some use of the of that inflated share of
Yeah, but his total amount of collateral, regardless if it's split between one account or 10 accounts, would still get slashed. So the thing is about
yeah,
the
but
1.5 to 1 org
but
authorization.
if he is able to sign in extreme case that I mean it's 2/3 of required signatures,
Mhm.
then there is no slashing even if he signs for something that is invalid, because that's the truth. It was signed.
Well, he would be what, like forking the chain at that point, right?
Yeah, but he's controlling the chain at this moment, because he's in the committee, and 2/3 of the committee is him. So whatever he says is true.
I mean that's basically the Byzantine fault problem, right? Whoever
Yes,
controls
yes,
two thirds. Yeah.
that's in Hive you don't have that opportunity to game the system like that, because first the voting is from whole chain, whole pool of users, and it's not that easy to become one of the top witnesses.
So I have
Yet,
a question here,
Mhm.
just to be sure I understand all this. If I got this right, you're saying that, or at least IBW is suggesting that I could become a validator simply by locking up 2,000 Hive, and no one else has any influence on that. Is that the case?
Yeah, you just have to spin up a node, and 2,000 Hive is the minimum for the validator.
And then I become a validator.
Yeah.
And okay, of all these validators, how is it determined who gets to be a block get involved in that epic?
How is it determined? I'm not sure I'm following.
So I mean, we're all say there's 10 validators, and
Yeah.
we got to pick some amount they're going to have the vote, the 2/3 vote. Is it all validators, or is it 2/3 is some smaller amount?
It's 2/3 of the validators.
Of all the validators.
Yeah.
Okay, so
of all validators or of all validators from the committee?
yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, probably best if you wrote down the question, so I don't mess up some
Okay,
detailed information.
I'll make the question up with Andre after the meeting,
Yeah.
and we'll send it to you in Mattermost.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. I think I get where this is going. Andre, did you have more questions?
Yeah. Okay. How do I stop being a validator?
You withdraw your 2,000 Hive.
So there is some function,
some operation that does that.
Operation from I sent give me back my collateral, and I get that with from that shared account, and that transaction, that transfer is signed by current committee.
By the multisig currently, since we use a multisig for Hive and not TSS for Hive.
Why?
It was simpler at the time, and but basically the multisig controllers are basically the same as the committee in essence.
Yeah, but multisig in Hive is very limited. I mean, I did multi-layer signature that multi-sig signature that requires over 4,000 signatures. But first, such transaction wouldn't even fit in current minimal blocks. And second, it's multi-layered, so normally you can only reach 40.
Yeah, that's kind of the limitation. Yeah. So we have like 20, so it's not an issue, and it's stake weight. It's not one per account.
Okay,
just to bring this home, there was a request from a long time ago from the Magi / VSC team to
BLS
modify multi-sig on the Hive side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But BLS are not good signatures.
I know. Just to say that there was a request to improve this particular portion of the multi-sig.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, it's possible to run TSS and a full node on Hive, so we could move away from multi-sig eventually.
One more question about TSS. There is a problem of multi-signing, and that's the thing that results in penalty. Yes.
Currently, it's signing an invalid block, I think. That would be a slashing event.
But because when witness is in Hive, witness is currently scheduled to produce block and he doesn't produce block, there is a missed block, and the next producer picks up those transactions that should probably be in that block and produces the block with those transactions, etc. So the penalty in quotes for that missed block is lack of associated block producer reward.
Yeah, for us,
the same witness can produce two blocks competing when he has two nodes that both think they should produce. And in order to prevent such situation, in Hive you can create a backup that has a different signing key. So when it detects that the main node, let's say, lost its connection, the backup can send to the network a transaction that changes the key to its own key, and next block will be signed by this backup node in that way. And here it seems like it's better to just miss the blocks, miss the signing than to risk double signing, because there is no mechanism to let's say have a competing share for TSS or BLS signatures. Is that correct?
That would be a bit more technically difficult for me to answer that question. So I can't answer it right now.
Okay.
But we do have slashing for double signing a block or signing an invalid block, and reduction in rewards, I think 10 to 20% for not being a very precise block producer.
Okay, so you've mentioned something, but I want to ask directly about it. Incentives. Why would anyone want to be a validator?
So the way this works is based on the volume generated by the whole protocol. The fees are split in half when the collateral is stable at 1.5 to 1. So 50% of the fees generated by the protocol trading and swaps goes to validators, and 50% goes to liquidity providers. And then we also are working on a system where we're trying to see if we could do partial staking back on Hive mainnet for validators so they could get their collateral delegated back to them at 75%. That code is also already done, but it's not live. So, you would have 70% of your current power of your Hive that's being used on Hive for voting, for governance, and then you would be generating some
You
kind of
can't.
APR based on fees.
Governance doesn't work on delegations.
No, not on delegations. Of course, you would be setting a proxy.
Okay.
Yeah, you proxy back the delegated Hive
Okay.
back to them.
That would
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Okay, so I assume that the account that collects the collateral will just power up it, and when someone wants to a part of it, and when someone wants to take it back, they can give it from the liquid part. That's why it's 70% and not 100. Yes.
70% is because you want to have a liquid buffer in case there's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
happening, and then they would have to opt into it if they want to have it happen. But the system would still control even the stakes part. It wouldn't be back in their own account. It would be controlled by the multi-sig. So it's a bit tricky system that we developed since nobody else has an underlying base chain like Hive. But that's still not live. The primary reason, the primary incentive to be a validator is the fee accrual from the cross-chain swaps.
Okay, so I would have to see what are the levels of the expected rewards for being a validator, because currently I have absolutely no idea. If that,
Yeah, I mean, we are pre-liquidity, so it's very difficult to say at this point. And we're not without.
yeah, but
Ethereum.
I mean there is some level of activity where it starts making sense, and I assume it's not currently the case, but but there is definitely some level where because I assume it's quite a burden to have a validator node active, because there is multiple chains to observe. So
Well,
even
no.
that alone is problematic.
So currently, you can run a validator on like $20 per month if you're not using your own infrastructure. And because we're going to be using ZKs, the computational power needed for the nodes is going to be staying probably the same as right now. Otherwise, it would be going up to $500-$600 per month. But since we're going to be using the external network SPN for ZK proofs and not running a full node, it's going to be staying around $20-$30.
But what about, let's say you want to have an Ethereum node, your own Ethereum node, to be sure you are publishing correct data and not to rely on some public block explorers for Ethereum, for example.
Yeah, we're going to be using zero knowledge proofs instead of full nodes for Ethereum.
Okay.
You're not
I leave it at
observing
that. Okay. Contracts. Is there any if I correctly understand this, the contract is deployed on IPFS and not on Hive. On Hive is only its CID and contract ID. Yes, that's
possibly
contract
again
hash and
another technical question.
the ID of because that was my question to Claude about if the contract is deployed on Hive. It's not. Because if it was, there would be a question of how much what is the size, and it would have to be limited by the size allowed for custom JSON, etc. So as far as Claude told me, contracts are not published directly on Hive, just their association, the CID, that is basically hash of the contract content, and the contract ID, that is the name of the contract. So those two are needed to call properly the contract, but the contract itself is not on Hive. Okay, so when I deploy a contract, is the contract allowed to allocate data?
Which contract? There's multiple versions of contracts on Magi.
So custom contract, the contract that a user can deploy.
Okay.
So I'm asking about the limitations of what a custom contract can do. What are the limits of its memory allocation? What are the limits of its execution time, or if there are any limits, etc.
Yeah, this is all covered. I think 1 month, 1 month ago or 2 months ago, when we released the contracts. All this data is available in the chart on the post on Magi blog.
Okay.
So it's basically covers everything there.
I have some query, but probably it's normal about calls to other contracts, but because I remember it was quite a problem in EOS and when we were doing some research on SMARC, the smart contract that Dan wanted us to do, so that was one of the problems. But I see there is no problem in Magi about one contract calling another contract. It just happens through some SDK.
Yeah, this is kind of the part that TipFox does. I probably should have got on him here. Sorry for the kids screaming. I need to leave the house for a second. Yeah, I mean, for the everything that's related to the smart contracts on Magi, I think we did a good job covering it in the release post. I think TipFox did a whole video list of videos that covers all this stuff, since we had some people inquiring about launching some games and stuff like that. So probably the blog post would cover everything that's related to the smart contracts aspect. We're kind of mostly right now focused on the actual cross-chain swaps. That's the big ticket item for us.
Okay, so I understand you have some built-in contracts for just that, the swaps, the internal DEX, and etc. Yes.
Yeah, the DEX contracts. Yeah.
Okay, one more thing about sort of contracts. Is there any mechanism for changing the rules of the Magi network? I mean, a hard fork.
Do you mean, is there any way to change the rules of the DEX contracts?
Generally, the Magi protocol. Is there any mechanism like Hive hard forks?
Is there any mechanism? I mean, you could fork the. Well, I'm not 100% sure. Nobody has attempted it yet. So, are you asking this in relation to Wax or?
No. Just asking if there is, because in Hive it's pretty important part of the protocol. So that's why that's why I'm asking how do you change the rules of the let's say you would want twice as many elected elected validators. So you would have to somehow say that from this point we want more validators, and the rules would change at that point, and who is not agreeing to those rules is forking out. Is in Hive it's a clear mechanism. Yes, the block producer says, I am ready for hard fork X and Y, and that hard fork will happen at the very first on that date. And when there is a consensus, enough witnesses that also sign for the same hard fork, then the hard fork activates, and those who are not on the hard fork are forking out. So I want to know if there is something similar on the Magi network.
Yeah, so the thing is that we don't have a governance system. Basically, the way it works, it's all based on our witnesses, our validators. We as a team propose changes, and then they accept it or don't accept it. Since we're still early on, that's how it works. When it comes to the DEX contracts, again, we can change the rules. We added a system in there that gives people like 3 days to observe. So it's locked for any changes, locked for, well, it's locked for a week. It used to be 3 days before it's implemented into the chain. So technically speaking, the validators control the whole system, and they are the ones that putting up collateral. That's what gives them the right to actually make decisions. But practically speaking, it's based currently on what we propose as the team that's actually developing the system. We're hoping over time to add a governance layer. There's some work being done already on the DAO, but again, it's hard. We don't have our own token. We have the Hive token as the collateral and HBD as the base routing asset. So currently, without your own token, it's difficult in some ways to do what you're proposing. So technically speaking, if the witness set rejected any of our changes, they could fork the chain. It would be basically automatic.
Okay. One thing that Claude was telling me that is missing is incentive pendulum repository. I mean, the project of that name is mentioned and linked to in documentation, but it's not present as public in public repo.
You're saying the incentive pendulum is private repo? No,
I don't know if it's maybe it's a problem in documentation.
it could be documentation. Yeah, yeah. It is public. We have maybe, well, we don't have any, I think, private repos at all, besides the arbitrator bot. So, yeah, it's a documentation issue.
Okay.
Since Pendulum just went live like 4 weeks ago, and it's still being worked on.
Okay, so for now, I think it's enough.
Yeah, I mean, look, just kind of send me those more technical questions, so I can try and answer them just off the top of my head. I'm not a developer, so I did my best trying to explain stuff that I know. Maybe next time I bring on another developer, maybe TechCoder or TipFox with me. But I just kind of a question: did you do any kind of audits or look into the code itself? If it has any bugs, any problems? You know,
like I said before, first I just downloaded those source files to have the Claude look for the answers to the questions that require access to source code. And the second is I'm not sure I should even look into the code when it's written in the language I never used, but I will look once my questions to Claude are answered, and it will basically point me to the code. So maybe I will start looking at the code this way.
Mhm. Okay, great. I mean, just one more thing, since you brought up Hive. Yeah, what you're saying is it's more difficult for the 2/3 collusion to happen on Hive because you have to buy up a lot of Hive and then you have to stake it and then vote for your fake witnesses essentially to take control of the chain. So right now, because there is so little liquidity on Magi, like $6,000-7,000, the minimum for the Hive collateral is 2,000 Hive. As the liquidity grows, so will the actual collateral needed. So you would have to have.
So it's not a set.
It's not set in stone. No.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would have more skin in the game, which will give you power over, in the TSS set as a witness. So it kind of grows with the liquidity. That's kind of the whole point of Magi as a chain.
Okay.
As the liquidity grows, so the collateral grows that secures the liquidity. If the liquidity is low, the collateral doesn't need to be high, etc. So it's all about maintaining the dangers that exists. So if you kind of put in $6,000, you would, I don't know, maybe put in danger $6,000 in liquidity, which isn't a lot. But then again, we also have an inclusion window that we added recently, which allows anybody to see who's coming in as a witness. Their own collateral doesn't take effect until like 2 weeks. That's something we copied from Hive that Blocktrace implemented after the mess with Justin Sun. So there's safeguards put in place. It's always kind of maintaining the balance between liquidity and collateral and keeping the system fully safe for what its purpose is. It's not a general purpose blockchain like Hive or Ethereum or stuff like that. So there is a point to it.
So that's actually answers my biggest doubt about the validity of the system. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for a Thorchain nodes, you have to stake, I think $500,000. That's something like that. A lot of money. It's a lot of money to actually run a node since they control like $200 million in liquidity. So as the liquidity grows, so does the collateral needs for a single node. Yeah, so I mean, we kind of took a lot of things that they did and implemented it here. There's a lot of differences, but definitely, I mean, they proved the system over like the last 5-6 years. So it's not something we're inventing ourselves from nothing.
Right. Okay, so that was a lot of
Yeah.
information. So.
Yeah, sorry guys, we took over with the questions here. If anybody else wants to speak, I think you're free to do now.
No, I think that's pretty much it. If anyone's ready, I guess we can call it today and see you next month.
All right, yeah. Thanks guys for the patience and everything else.
No worries.
Sounds good. Thanks. By the way, BW, I sent you a message on Mattermost about the RC, right? So you can have a look there.
Mattermost, where is? Okay. No, I see.
Okay, perfect.
Oh Jesus! Wall of text.
Have fun with it. Have fun. All right,
Yeah,
you can check
but
it later.
then he will reply. So.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Have a great
Bye.
day, everyone.